Hello, Internet, and in case you haven't seen in the recent Pathfinder community, Taking 20, or Cody from Taking 20, has posted a video recently called I'm Quitting Pathfinder 2E Because of This Issue. This is my response video to that. I have also watched NoNat1's video, titled a response to Taking D20 regarding Pathfinder 2E, and also Phil Talking D20's video titled the same thing, hence why I titled my video the same thing. I think we're all trying to come together right now as a community, and which I think is great, especially in these trying times. We need anything we can. We gotta stick together, man. We gotta stick together. So a little bit about myself in case you don't know who I am. I'm a small channel. I'm okay with that. And a little bit about myself. I essentially started role-playing. I started with 3.5 D&D back in 2011. And then moved over to Pathfinder 2nd Edition 2013. I stuck with that until around 2017. I did 5th Edition. And then as soon as that Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest came out, I hopped on board and I was hooked. The 2nd Edition. That's my history with tabletop gaming, and I've been. I also have tabletop experience with Halo Mythic. Shout out Halo Mythic. Now I will go ahead and say here in terms of videos I've already seen responding to this video. For the most part, I stand by Phil Talking D20 and NoNat's opinions. With Phil, I definitely stand by the opinion, or I stand by your feeling, and I share that same feeling of hurt. Roll the clip, man. Roll the clip.
If you enjoy a style of gameplay where your game master never talks in first person because you guys all find that super cheesy, play this game. I mean it on that last one, by the way. If you want to look down and say to your game master, I want to use a diplomacy check to make an impression, so I want to engage with the NPC in dialogue for at least 1 minute, and I want to make this check against his will DC to improve his attitude towards us by 1 step on a success or 2 steps on a critical, as listed on page 246 in the core rulebook, then you should play Pathfinder 2E.
To take a game that's so beautiful on so many levels and to just condense it and say, hey, guess what? You know what? If you like just hanging out, having a beer with your friends, you know, and you just want to kick a monster's ass, something along the sort. I know it's not an exact quote. You can go watch the video if you want to see the quote. This is a game for you. You just want to, do the same thing over and over again. Boom. And Cody's main point is that the game Pathfinder gives the illusion of choice, because it forces you to funnel, to make this very, very specialized character. And because that character is so specialized in what they do, that limits what they can do in combat because they've specialized. This is the most optimal. Boom. That's what we got to do. Optimal. Number 1. So I see your perspective, Cody, but I must say that I respectfully disagree. I'm going to go ahead and open up with my first point, saying, and again, Paizo, I don't want to make your sound. I want you to understand, Paizo, if you're listening, that I'm not making this as a stab at any other rule system or game system or anything like that. But I'm going to come out and say it because I think people need to hear it. Pathfinder 2nd Edition is not for everyone. It isn't. It's not for everyone. It's not, this is not a game, because like I said, I've GM'd 5th Edition, for more than a few years. Or 3-ish years. I still did some GMing, even though I was doing playtest Pathfinder. I was still doing some GMing 5e and all that in the meanwhile. And I'll come out and say it. This is not a game where you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna GM on Sunday, I'm gonna play on Monday, GM on Wednesday, play on Thursday. Oh snap, there's an opening for every other Friday, I'll take that too. This is not a game you're going to enjoy if you're trying to play it at least in my humble opinion, the way Paizo intends for the game to feel, for the experience that they want you to have when you play this game. If you want that the true experience that the game wants, that Paizo wants you to have, at least again in my opinion, obviously Paizo, feel free to correct me on this. This is a game, you might really, there's a lot more depth to Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And again, because we're talking about Cody's video, he makes a lot of comparisons to 5e. I am not here to diss on 5e. Even though, I could 4 days. I'm not here to do that. Again, I'm just going to try and make fair comparisons like Cody did, between 5e and 2nd Edition here. If we talk about just the amount of options, right, between 5th Edition and 2nd Edition Pathfinder, we have this huge gap, or this huge discrepancy. The amount of options you'll have in 2nd Edition is about this big. And again, not to be insulting, but in 5th Edition, it's about that, right? In general, the action economy is built around move, do a thing, aka an action, and not all classes or all builds get to do it. You might get a bonus action, depending on what you do, right? So move, do a thing, sometimes get to be able to do another thing. That's 5th Edition. Like, if you want to nutshell, no offense, you want to nutshell 2nd Edition, I feel like I have the privilege to nutshell 5th Edition, or 2nd Edition Pathfinder. I could do the same thing to 5th Edition. You want to nutshell combat, versus, yes, you could make the argument that with, yes, you have shove, or you have, these other things you can do with your action. You can interact and all that stuff. In 5th Edition, yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, generally in a turn, there's nothing more rage-inducing at a lower level. Or just in general, one thing that always kind of blew my mind is, okay, so I'm a fighter. I'm level 4, right? I go up to this, I'm already adjacent to this enemy creature I have here, because of how attack of opportunity works in 5th Edition. No one's moving. No one's doing much of any moving past the 4th round. Let's be real here. No one's doing moving, unless they absolutely have to. For those who are stuck in that melee range, in that front line, no one's moving past 4th round because, oh yeah, guess what? If you move, attack of opportunity, attack of opportunity, attack of opportunity, attack of opportunity. That's nice. Okay, so, where, again, attack of opportunity is not something, it's an ability you have to have. It's something that not just everyone has, and mobility has become this beautiful thing in 2nd Edition. The ability, hey, guess what? If that creature's not fast enough, or not fast enough, not reactive enough, I can just move. And if I'm playing a wizard, or I'm playing a squishier class, or whatever, it's fine. Or guess what? Hey, in 5th Edition, hey, can I do like a 5-foot step like we could in 3.5 so I don't take an attack of opportunity? No. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Well, I'm below half HP and I need to get out of here. So, again, I'm sorry. I'm going to rant because I'm passionate, and to be honest, it really upset me. Like, the video actually tilted me to the point where I'm supposed to be studying for this course I have for my career coming up, and I gotta put it on pause because that's how passionate I am about this. So again, I apologize about this, but Pathfinder is not for everyone. It's a game where, my wife made a great comparison. When she started playing 2nd edition Pathfinder, she came to enjoy it more than she did 5th edition, and she's what I would call more of a casual player, but she came to want to learn this game because she goes, you know what, William? I feel like I'm playing chess versus checkers, right? So what are the benefits of both of these games? Checkers, how easy is it for you to grab your friend? You could grab a stranger off the street who's never played checkers, and you could say, yo, in half an hour, I guarantee I can teach you how to play some checkers. And we can have a good time, and we can play some checkers. It's great. Okay, well, how do I play checkers? You could go left. You could go right. If there's a space behind a bad guy on the other side, you can just jump over him. Oh, and if you're good enough, you can even try to do multiple jumps. That's about the difficulty of depth. You get to the other side, you get a king, whatever, right? Very simple game to teach somebody. And it's not hard to enjoy, but again, you're very limited in your choices, which is not always a bad thing, especially for people that don't want to take a game seriously. In a way, I have to say, 2nd edition's a game you have to take seriously, whether you kind of want to or not, and that's not a threat. But what I mean is, it's a game where you have to invest. It's another easy comparison for those MMO or MMO gamers out there. The difference then in, between like another great comparison is like, current World of Warcraft, where no class for the most part is using more than 7 abilities in a fight. And in vanilla World of Warcraft, you had like 3.5, 4 bars worth of crap. And chances were, depending on how dedicated you were of a player, you could say, oh, well, I only need like 10 abilities, really. But you look at those top tier guilds of people who are getting the most out of the game, experiencing the most out of the game, pushing into those higher, able to push those higher levels and all that. Those are the people that are using all 26 abilities, all 30 abilities at those upper levels. Maybe not all the time, but they're using more than just 10, right? Pathfinder's the same way. Chess is the same way. You can't just take someone off the street and say, yo, guess what? In half an hour, I guarantee I can teach you how to play some chess. You might be able to cram it in, but one, they're not going to absorb the information as well. Trying to combine everything you've learned and put that in a situation where now you're having to use what you've learned and try and remember all those things, and then you're not going to be able to teach some advanced techniques or advanced maneuvers, where in checkers the most advanced maneuver is multiple jumping, right? In checkers. Well, that's the thing, is with chess is not for everyone either. If you were to pull most people aside and say, "Hey, we have an hour and a half to burn. You wanna play a few games of chess, or you want to play maybe 1, maybe 2 games of checkers, depending on how experienced you are and how fast you can play." But most people, if they're not avid chess players, are gonna say, "Yeah, I think if these are the only 2 games in the house, I'm probably gonna relax, play some checkers, and we could shoot the shit. We can hang out. So, and there's no problem with that. That's totally fine. But those who play chess, I feel like the Paizo community is so strong in how we feel about this game and why this has caused so much drama, is because most, those who play 2nd edition, we feel like this is the evolution of D20 gaming. And not to say that 5th edition D&D wasn't an evolution, but in many regards, it was an evolution and also a step back. Again, Phil, I agree with you here. The skills, man. What happened to my skills? You know, there's even a wonderful rapper. His name is Yazik. He comes from the YouTube channel. I'll put him up here. Definitely check out. It's called Skill Monkey.
I miss the feel of the live days, the 3.5 days, when you could kill an enemy 5 ways, and customization was like a wide open highway. Lately I'm feeling like I'm stuck in the driveway, cause when I play, it's like a war of attrition. I'm sorry for bitching, I guess I'm just a fan of tradition. I understand that Wizards of the Coast is in the position with the priority of new player acquisition for 5th edition.
And he's a part of a show called Man Shorts. Wonderful show, great. They do little funny little role-playing jokes and like little funny scenarios and stuff. But you know, he even talked about, you know, it's like, you know, we went forward, but what did we lose? When you simplify something, what do you lose? You lost a huge element of the game, which is skills. Which again brings me to another point. Roll that clip.
The illusion of choice is so overwhelming in a system built around combat, let's be honest, it is, that it's quite literally boring my player.
Okay, I'm just going to say it right now. No, Pathfinder 2nd Edition is not just about combat. Is combat important? Yes, because if you don't know how to do the combat into Pathfinder 2nd Edition, it can lead to bad things, like TPKs, you know. But again, we'll get there in just a bit. So, roleplay, in my opinion, in 2nd Edition is actually encouraged. There are entire archetypes and even subtypes of certain classes, like the Scoundrel Rogue. You have the Dandy archetype. You have the Celebrity archetype. You know, there are literally, and there's many more. I could, like, you know, I have to I'll put a list here. I'll put a freaking list here. There are so many, as you know, some people call them RP archetypes or roleplay archetypes, or, you know, what I call out of combat archetype, whatever you want to call them. Let's be honest here. Half the game, if not more, just because of how pacing works in tabletop role-playing games, is not combat. Unless it's like a one-shot, you know, where it's gonna be like, here's a problem, go get the problem, go solve the problem, fight. You know, for the most part, you're gonna be out of combat. So Pathfinder gives you the tools, no matter what class you play, no matter what ancestor you are, none of that stuff. Because guess what? You forgot the other half of the game too, Cody. At every level, you get a class feat and a skill feat, man. And you get skill increases every other level. And if you're a rogue, well, you're just cracked out. You know, you get both every level. Bam, bam. Other than you get the skill increase and you get the skill feat every level. So you're just cracked out. Skill monkey, right? Even if you're combat focused, you can still just be a skill monkey, right? So you forgot about the other half of the game, Cody. It's role playing, and when you have all these tools to role play, guess what? Like I said, I was steaming. If you just want to play a game, or you don't even have to, you know, GM could just be a third person. It'd be great. Phil and I both agree that's some bullshit. And you know it. No offense. I feel you're just tilted because you're not enjoying the game. Because your party TPK'd and you're upset and you made this video. That's my honest opinion. Your party TPK'd, you're tilted, and you made this video. Well, you know what? In your tilt, you caused me to tilt. So now I'm making this video. Anyway, we move on to the TPK. The TPK. Cody, you cannot complain about a TPK when you have a playlist on your channel that's been not necessarily the most up to date or, you know, always posted on. When you have a playlist called Kill Your Party With, I'm sorry. Your party got killed with something. And now you're upset about it. Tough shit. One, you want to know whose fault the TPK is? It's your fault, Cody. It's the GM. I'm going to say it flat out right. You don't want to know why? Because I'm a small content creator. I don't have a huge audience. I one day hope to have it growing, and that'd be great. But you know what? It's your fault. Because guess what? If you look at content, like, and again, Nonat kind of touched on this. If you see the content ahead and your party level is, if you've been playing a year in Ashes or in Age of Ashes, you're probably in like book 4.5 or 5 at this point. You know what your party can handle. And if you don't, Pathfinder's not the game for you. Because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie. And when I say you, I mean everybody out there. If you're interested in playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, I want you to know right now that this game as a GM takes 4 times the work it does to GM a 5th edition campaign. Hands down. Whether you're playing Homebrew, Adventure Path, or anything like that. In terms of mastering the game to make sure that it runs smoothly or as smooth as possible. It takes way more work. That's coming from someone who's played 3.5, someone who GM'd and played Pathfinder 1st Edition, someone who GM'd and played 5th Edition and played 5th Edition. I'm telling you, I've been, so far with 2nd Edition, I have only GM'd. I've played like character, little ally NPCs here and there, and I've made them from scratch and, made them like players. They're not just like NPCs with like limited actions, full blown, player characters that are just incorporated as NPCs for them to help them do little things here and there. And it's way more work. There's more to know. There's going to be more stress. And that's why, it goes, why I addressed that earlier. It's not meant for everybody. This is not for a while I felt like Nonat was burning out for real, but his response kind of want some brownie points with me. A lot of it's a lot. This is not a game where it's you just hop in, and in my opinion, 5th edition is the game. You hop in, share some beers, and you just whoop some shit's ass. You go in there and you're like, hey, here's a character sheet, you're level A. Hey, you're level A, and here's your fighter, here's your wizard, here's your broken ass warlock, because don't get me started on warlock. And here's classes, let's go, we're going to go in a dungeon, yeah. That's 5th edition. 5th edition is on the fly. No problem. It's fine. Everything can be done on the fly. You can't do that with 2nd edition as easily. It can be done. But not as easily, because yes, guess what? All the bullshit a lot of GMs have been getting away with for years, whether it's screwing over their players or, summoning too many monsters or, all this stuff. Guess what? You can be called out on that because there are more rules and it's more defined. So you're held more accountable and more responsible. And I think a lot of people are turned off by that. People are turned off by like, oh man, now I can't just go TPK all them people in the Adventure League anymore. And all that, oh man. Yeah, guess what? The game's defined. 95% of things are defined. There are rules now. Rules for almost everything. But in that comes more potential. More potential for roleplay and combat. Yes, of course, there is always going to be a meta way of doing things. There's even meta in 5th edition. It's one of the most simple, tabletop games, medieval fantasy role-playing tabletop games to pick up. If you go to Adventure League, where, let's say it happens more in Adventure League than it does in Homebrew, but, once numbers are introduced to any system, regardless of what it is, there's going to be a meta. Stop acting like it only exists here. Or it's worse here because you're more specialized, meaning you're going to do less actions, so it's going to be a problem. It's not a problem. You want to know why? Because if you're a fighter, even if you've built, for a two-handed shoving / tripping kind of guy, guess what? Or not even shoving, tripping. Like, I've built raw damage. My two-handed does this, and when it quits, it does this. Yeah, you know what? That's great. That's great. But I have this thing where if they ignore you and they're going for your other person and you can't put out enough damage, maybe because you don't have a silver weapon, or maybe because blank this, blank that, you have freaking options, real options, because not every situation is going to be optimal for you as the player, the person building this super specific thing. Not every situation is going to be optimal for you. So it's up to the player to say, I got to figure something out. Shit. Nonat gave a great example. Playing that wizard. This spider, multiple attack. At least if I think Goliath has multiple attack. This is 5e Goliath spider. Thing got multiple attack. I can just damage over and over again, but I might not be able to keep up with it. I gotta think of something different real quick. And he thought of something quick. Went under the spider. AoE, omnidirectional wind. Clever idea. Tripped the spider. Spider got tripped. And, like he said, the rogue could have easily sneak attack, because he's prone. But you know what? That rogue didn't do that. He goes, guess what? Immovable rod, bitch. I want to bind this thing to the ground. Check it out. Yeah. Right? Those are the moments we live for. Those are the moments we live for. Not crunching numbers. Crunching numbers is great. You'll win. Congratulations. But, if I were to say, I'll a quick story before I go into my final point. My first game I played, like I said, was 3.5 D&D. I do not remember any damage numbers from that game. I remember the story, and I remember those key moments that, my character evolved or had a crushing defeat or had a rough moment or a victorious moment. And like 70% of them were not in combat. Even though my player was built for combat. My character was built for combat. Most of my greatest moments were outside of combat. If I go back and I talk about my, what I call Galarian homebrew, where, it's a homebrew set in Galarian for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We talk about, if you ask my players the most memorable moments in the Rise of Razmir homebrew I've done so far, or that we played, they're not going to tell you about damage numbers. Yeah, they're going to have a few, they're probably going to have some memories about some cool combat moments. But if you have a role playing, it comes down to your group. And this leads into my final point here. Adventure paths are a plot, not a railroad. I think people have this misconception of adventure paths. You can see on my channel, I'm running Age of Ashes right the fuck now. And in the second book, a lot of controversy comes up because a lot of people TPK in book 2. Right? Okay, so if you see some review, as a GM, I like to call myself responsible GM, and I say, okay, well, let me do, before I run this, let me do a little research, see what some other GMs have to say about it so far, and I don't know, I was like, because it was a big shift for my players to say, hey, we're not doing homebrew? No, we're going to shift to Adventure Path, or we're going to play an Adventure Path now. They're like, whoa, I don't know about that. It seems really railroady. Well, I want you to, go on my channel and, and I want you to tell me if you feel like my players feel like they're in a railroad. Especially, they just defeated they just beat the second book. Now, am I going to lie to you and say I didn't modify it? Yes, of course I did. Because guess what? I know I have 5 players, 3 of them are new. If you have new players, and I'm going to, spoiler here. So, okay, by the way, you can skip to this thing here if you don't want spoilers. Spoilers incoming now. Cinder Claw Mine. Okay, look. Anyone who has even done playtest material of 2nd edition knows how tough a severe encounter can be, right? So if you open up the Cinder Claw Mine and you see, okay, we got a Vroth Demon. We got a dinosaur that can come on loose if the cages are done. We have a person that has a staff that can cast Fireball multiple times, even though they're not a caster and they just happen to have the ability to use their staff because that's balanced. And then we have the spiders, and we got all the people on the ground, and all of them have climb because they're all boggards and freaking Charuka. So, okay, so, Oh, and then we also have the Charuka Butchers next to the fire pit, and we have the sick bay. So you're telling me when an alarm goes off, we have the Sabasans hiding in the bottom too. So you're telling me that if anybody raised the alarm, like 70% of the freaking camp, which can make it over there because this is a wide open area, can make it over there in like 2-3 rounds? Because how the action economy works, you just move, right? Charuka, Shrieking Frenzy, move. Right? You're telling me that's not gonna be a problem? No, of course it's gonna be a problem. Modify it. It's up to you as a GM to say, look, because again, they give you the script, right? They say, look, here's the movie, Mr. Director Liam, here's the movie, and as long as you get here, you hit this bullet point, we really don't care what happens in between there. That's on you. As long as these points are, these points of the story are communicated and shown through the movie, we really don't care. This happens all the time in media. Why would it be any different? Do you really think Paizo expects you to, or expects a 1-for-1 result? Hell no. Again, if I'm wrong, please call me out, Paizo, but I don't think you built them that way. They're not going to be a 1-for-1. Of course not. They just, the story is what's important there, or what story is being communicated or portrayed or shown, or all that's important. But don't let mechanics get in the way of that, or certain mechanics. Like, look, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, the difficulty of, hey, guess what? Everyone just swarms you. Yeah, that's a TPK. Guess what? Hey, you guys get into the Fortress of Sorrow at the end of the book. Well, hate to tell you, kid, that clay golem. Well, you start fighting that thing, that triggers the other 2 doors to open. The Recharks come out, double flame breath, or flame breath. Oh, guess what? More butchers come out, clap, you're dead. It's never been hard to kill a party. So, no offense, Cody. That's all you. I'm just going to say it. That's all you, brother. Like, that fell on you. And my closing, or not, I'm going to say not in closing, but your player that just think about how silly that sounds when you say my player got bored of transforming into dinosaurs and dragons. I'm sorry. I didn't know everyone just gets to do that. Just hey, a fighter, can you do that? Hey, cleric, can you just transform into dragons and dinosaurs when you want? No. Hey, investigator, can you do that? No. Hey, you get the point. The player is unsatisfied because that player specifically, I hate to say, is a meta slave. If you see all the forms of creatures you can turn into as a druid, and you say, yo, just dinosaurs, just dragons, we're done. You're clearly just looking at the numbers yet again. You're not looking at capabilities or shoves, trips, all those other options you have. You're just looking at numbers. Wake up, man. Pathfinder is not just all about numbers. And that's the thing too, is maybe you misgauged your players. Because, you can easily say, hey guys, there's going to be some pretty tough stuff. Do you guys want a difficult experience? Or do you want me to dial it back a little bit? Or do you want to you want me to dial it back for a bit and then see, if you guys enjoy it, and then maybe we can crank it back up to where it's designed to be, or all that. You take it steps at a time. To just say, the whole Age of Ashes is ass because my players TPK'd and I haven't had a TPK since I've ever started GMing. Well, again, my humble opinion, a TPK is the GM's fault. Unless, one, the party blatantly disregarded what you had to say about, if you gave them a GM warning and they blatantly disregarded it, that's pretty much the only exception. And say, hey, it's pretty dangerous ahead. You guys are looking pretty rough right now. You might want to turn back. You don't know what's ahead, right? You can give them that GM warning. If they're like, nah, first of all, we're not going to rest. Second of all, we're not going to refocus. We're just going forward. Okay. You kind of, I'm not saying you've done everything you can, but if you in general, if you know how your players are going to handle something, you say, guys, you might want to reconsider, give them that warning, right? No one's going to get upset at you if you give them a warning, especially when, they take that warning to heed and go, oh, well, let's go back. And then they go back, open that door, and they go, yeah, we would have died. Wow, we would have died. No one's gonna be mad at you for that. As a GM, I've done that with my players, and especially when they were level 12 and they're way down the line. It's I'm not saying to baby your players. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if the players are super invested, and especially if you're invested into your own story or into the story that's being told, or more importantly, if you're homebrewing your own story. You don't want it to just abruptly end, do you? Come on. If I could retitle this video to anything, it would be called Why I Refuse to Quit Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We've come to a time, and again, this is just extra 2 cents here. It seems people are, we're less and less prone to investment, real investment. And role-playing is one of those only avenues we have left of real investment. And especially if you're someone who really wants to get into a game, Pathfinder 2nd edition rewards you as the player. The more you know, the more easy it is to, especially if you're, I really try and stress people trying Adventure Paths, or if you're going to homebrew in Galarian, you'll find that the game will become so immersive because of all the backgrounds made for the world, all the archetypes made for the world, all the history there is. Like I said, archetypes and and it's chocked full of so much rich lore, and the setting is gritty. It's rough, but it's fantastic all at the same time. And there's so many areas, so many different regions, that it pretty much can cater to your own desire. You want a dark, grim setting, really dark, grim setting. Head over to the Eye of Dread. You'll be chocked full of undead. You want to mess with aberrations? You want a little Starfinder in your Pathfinder game? Head over to Numeria. You want ancient, or you want old, you want wizard focused. You can go to Mwanji. You can go to Nex. There's just so many freaking options. I feel like people really cheat themselves out of, if you have this game that says, hey, guess what? We have all these books that support our system too. Why not, if you're not going to play the adventure paths, why not at least try playing in the world that all this shit is made for? All of it. There's count it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. You have Legends, Character Guide, Gods of Magic, World Guide, Pathfinder Society, Advanced Player's Guide. I'll count it in there. Oh, you could count it out, count it in there. So 5 books if you want to be if you really want to be technical. 5 books that are all Lost Omen settings based. Right? And that doesn't even begin to tickle the amount of books there are for first edition. Play in Galarian, homebrew in Galarian, or play an adventure path, and know that as the GM, the story is always yours to tell. And how you want to tell it is up to you. So all these freaking haters out here, adventure paths are the devil. Limit your creativity. No, they don't. I actually go out to say they challenge your creativity. You're given set events that must happen. So now it's up to you. Now I can, now I can. How can I insert my players into this movie, right? Like, it's pretty much like you're a Hollywood director, and they're like, okay, so here's your script, and now you need to also incorporate these players and make them feel like they're connected to the story. Indeed, interesting, right? It's a challenge. It's not restricting you. Like I said, in a way, it's challenging you even more than a homebrew setting would. In a homebrew setting, you go, okay, hey guys, what are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking? Well, I'm thinking this, and this. Build a story around that, and you're pretty much done. I'm not saying that building a homebrew setting is easy. I know, because I've built one myself. It ain't easy. But what I am saying is, stop looking at adventure paths like railroads. Stop generalizing 2nd edition Pathfinder. Look within. Listen, Cody. It is upsetting. If you're not heartbroken from a TPK, I'd say you're dead inside. But the fact that you are upset enough to the point, like I said, I really think a lot of this comes from the TPK. I really do. if you are that upset about it, that's a good thing. So you look to your players and you look to the game system. Don't don't just sit there and go, oh, it's the game system because the game system limits you. If we're being real, if we're being real here, let's take a look at this from a real life perspective. I myself am a system administrator. I essentially do a lot of Windows Server troubleshooting and all that stuff. But even amongst the system administrators in the office in which I work, we have people who are even more specialized in a field of system administration or server administration or network administration, or all those things, and that's just the IT field, right? Like if you look at a field of career fields, right? I think it's pretty safe to say most people specialize in something. That's what we like to do. As human beings, we like to say, hey, guess what? I'm really good at this. Not that I can't learn this or this or this or this, but I'm really good at this, right? And that's why you should hire me, or that's why I fit in your company. That's why I fit in your company mission, etc., right? So when a game allows you to truly specialize and be something that is specialized, that's more true to life as it would be anyway. People want to be special and really special at what they are. If people want to feather out and, in real life, it's pretty much you're either a jack or you're an ace. You're a jack of many or an ace of one, right? There is no real in between there, right? That's why, like if you notice, like a lot of managers in a lot of managers in fields, they can't, they may have come from a specialized aspect, but now they kind of have to like learn how the overall big picture works, right? It's the same thing with role playing too. Where 5e is like, hey, you're kind of just generally this, right? And that's fine if that's what makes you happy, but in general, I'd say most people are okay when you say, I want to be really, really, really good at this. Better than anyone like me. I want to be even better. Then they've pretty much already come under the mental understanding that that's what they're going to do. Okay. Enough's enough. Thanks for sticking by. If you've stuck around this long, I usually do not go on long rants like this, but I had to get this off my chest. My name is Liam. I'm the game master for Cardinal Adventures, here on this YouTube channel. Thanks for sticking around. If you like lore, that's what I specialize in. Okay, sorry, it's not. No, but it's really my passion. That's what I really cover, and I also do an Age of Ashes campaign right now that I'm running, and hope you watch that. Stay strong, Paizo community, Pathfinder 2e community. I know that Cody's intentions weren't to destroy Pathfinder. I understand that. But, let's come together and celebrate all the great things that second edition's done. I want you to write in the comments below, especially those who have come from 5th edition or come from 1st edition or come from any other game. Why are you staying? Tell me why you're staying. Is it the combat? Is it the skill feats? Is it the in-depth how defined the system is? Is it the setting? Tell me. I want to know. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.